Hey, what's up guys? So welcome back to today's video. Today we are going to look at how we can make a very simple and straightforward graphics quality system. Our actual implementation allows us to change the resolution of the game. It allows us to switch between different quality levels that we have. Also, we get to set different levels for the anti-aliasing, as well as set ease full screen and VSync on. And as an added bonus, we can also modify the shadow distance. So as you can see, as I increase the slider, the shadow appears, and if I put on the PC, we can definitely see the quality has been improved. At the very least, we've got all the post processing applied, whereas on the low end I completely disable this. And we also have the anti-aliasing that affects the edges quite a bit, as well as the full screen and VSync. So you can't actually see the difference of these three ones in the editor, but in the actual play mode then you definitely see it. So let's actually set it up and then we'll see how we can code it. So as for the UI setup, it's very simple. I've got three drop downs and two toggles alongside one slider, and we've got a graphics manager game object which has the script attached to it, and I've just went ahead and assigned all of the different UI elements to it, and then under each UI element I call the specific method for each one of them. Here it is. Oh, sorry, I forgot to actually implement the actual full screen and the full screen and the anti-aliasing one. Okay, no, the anti-aliasing and the VSync, sorry. So yeah, so once all of this has been set up, then we get what I just showed. As for our project settings, here it is. So I've got two quality levels, so one is PC and one is low end. You could add however much you like. Let's say I want to add another one called mid-range. Alright, and then if I select that, I can assign a render pipeline asset. Let me just duplicate this one, call this mid-range, and set it up here. Continue, and here we can modify the settings as you want. So let's say for the mid-range I want to have shadows. I can then set up the cascades, so let's just put a distance of 50 for instance, and then set up different cascades like so. And I can just enable soft shadows as well, but let's just keep that disabled. So therefore we get three different tiers, and now if I hit play, it should automatically grab all of the three quality levels. So I can now switch to mid-range, PC, low end, or mid-range, and then the shadow level applies to each and every one of them, as you can probably see. And it's also a very good idea if we have this as percentage, and so therefore the actual mip maps does represent a percentage rather than an actual unit. Therefore, even if I increase it to the maximum, then all of this still looks pretty good. But of course you can play around with the settings. And yeah, so that's it for the actual setup. And yeah, so let's get back to the coding side of things. So here is the graphics settings manager script. This handles everything that we just saw. So as for the actual variables, we have all the public ones that we saw in the editor, as well as a resolution array. This is marked as private. And on void start, what we do is we assign the resolutions array to all of the different screen resolutions that's available. So this is very simple. We just do screen.resolutions, and then we can use link operations to get only the different ones and then convert it to an array. And next up, we want to clear all the options from the resolution dropdown, because as you probably have seen, whenever you put a dropdown in Unity, there will be some options already available. So we just want to clear everything and just add the new resolutions to the list. And here we are just basically adding the resolutions by converting everything to a list and then displaying it to something that the user can understand, and then just adding the options there. And here we are fetching the resolution that we've saved using playerprefs.getInt. Obviously you could change the name for the key, but here we have it as resolution index, and then we just set the current resolution, and then we just refresh whatever values have been set. And then the same thing for is full screen, we get it from the player pref, and if it's equal to 1, then we just enable it, and then we update the UI as well, and then set screen.fullscreen to the boolean value. Same thing for the quality drop down. Here we clear the options first, and then we want to have all of the options available, so we do quality settings.names, and then we just convert it to a list, and then the drop down will just show everything. Again, we get the current quality, and we refresh the values and set the current quality to whichever one we had last time. And that's basically the same thing for every one of them. You can read through it. So now that this has been done, as for the set resolution, here is the method to set the resolution. So we just take an index, and we get the resolution from that. Remember the array that we had, and then we just do screen.set resolution, and then we pass in the parameters, and then we just set the resolution index to the current index that we selected. Same thing for is full screen, take a boolean value and then just set it, and same thing for quality and vsync, as well as the anti-aliasing. Now for the set shadow distance, we take in a distance value, and here it's a little bit different. So what we want to do is first get the URP asset. If you were using HDRP, then this would be the high definition render pipeline asset instead of the universal render pipeline. And then we just get the current render pipeline, and then just as the universal render pipeline. Here we just do a quick check. If the asset is a URP asset and it's not null, then we can modify it. And here all we have to do is access the URP asset, and then just change the shadow distance to whichever distance we have, and let's not forget to actually set the float to a player pref. And then this is the last settings, which is apply settings, which just saves all of the player prefs. So you could technically have a button that calls this method, but that's not always necessary, although it's definitely something that you want to have just in case it does not save itself. So that's about it for the actual coding side of things. So we have now reached the end of today's video, and if you've done everything correctly, you should have a fully working simple graphic settings that allows you to switch between the different resolutions of the monitor, toggle the full screen on and off, as well as the vsync and the shadow distance, as well as switch between the different levels of anti-aliasing, and switch between the different quality settings that you've set. And if you've got any queries or questions, please leave them down below in the comment section. And if you guys enjoyed this video or found the video helpful, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe if not already, and I'll see you guys next one. Bye!